Elana, remember what I told you. Until you turn 20, never show your beauty or your talents.
For 15 years I have lived by my mother's final words. I made myself look plain and acted like I knew nothing, just to blend into the background. But today was my 20th birthday, and I was ready to let go of the old Elana and showcase my true self. I filled the tub with warm water, added some bath salts, and set my makeup remover nearby. Just as I started undressing for a long, relaxing soak to wash off the ugly makeup, a loud knock ruined the peace. Melody Ahmed, the maid, stood there, nose in the air as usual. Elana, what are you sneaking around in here for? It's Miss Jones' wedding day. If you don't show up, people will start whispering and potentially tarnish the Jones family's image. Go to the front hall, now. This maid had never been polite to me. Saying I sneaked around was hardly accurate. Truthfully, I had been pushed into that back room for 15 years since my mother's death. After my mother's passing, my stepmother, Kiara Jones, and her daughter with my father, Paige Jones, wasted no time joining the Jones family and took over everything. The worst part? Not even my father, Darren Jones, treated me the way I deserved. I'll go change, I said calmly. Melody scoffed. What's the point? With that ugly face of yours, no dress can save you. Move it. The Evans family's already here. The City Hall staff members are on site to collect the materials to register the marriage between Mr. Evans and Miss Jones. Mrs. Jones wants everyone present for the big moment. My lips curled into a cold smile. Guess it wasn't the time to show my true face. The Evans family was the most powerful in Ublento. Cole Evans, their heir, was a business genius. Paige was the city's favorite socialite. Of course, their engagement was all over the news. People called them a perfect couple. Every compliment in the book was used to describe them. Social media was going wild. Everyone in the room wore elegant outfits. I stood out like a sore thumb in a cheap blue tank top, ripped jeans, and hideous makeup. I didn't just clash with the scene, I crashed it. Kiara was chatting with Cole's grandfather, Reuben Evans. When I walked in, Kiara paused and then put on her usual fake smile. Elana, I got you a beautiful new dress. Why didn't you wear it? Hello, Mr. Evans.
Well, Elana, you've certainly got your own style these days.
I ran a hand through my messy wig. I hadn't expected him to be so tolerant. At least he wasn't calling me a disaster. My eyes naturally drifted to the man beside Reuben. I'd noticed him the moment I stepped in. From his posture and presence, I could tell this had to be Cole, the mysterious heir rarely seen in public. Seeing him up close was something else. Tall, sharp, and ridiculously handsome. He looked like he'd stepped straight out of a romance novel. I couldn't help staring just a little too long. A voice spoke loud on purpose. Look at Elana. Ugly as hell, yet she dares to drool over Paige's fiancé. What a joke. With that face, even looking at Mr. Evans is a crime. Melody was clearly complying with Kiara's silent orders. Paige leaned closer to Cole, clinging to his arm like she was claiming her prize. It's fine. Cole's amazing. It's only natural that other women like him.
What a disgrace. Get out of here.
Fine.
Let's check if we missed any documents for the marriage registration.
Reuben cleared his throat awkwardly and turned to the City Hall staff members.
Of course.
The City Hall members opened their laptops and checked if any crucial materials were missing. A moment later, one of them froze and said hesitantly,
Mr. Evans, the system says you're already married. Your wife is listed as Miss Elana Marsh.
Gasps filled the room. My eyes went wide. Shock hit me like a slap. I was married? And to Cole Evans, no less? But I had no idea how. Kiara rose to her feet in a flash.
How can this be happening?
Darren looked equally rattled.
This can't be right. There has to be an error.
Back in the day, the Jones family thrived. Off my biological mother, Rita Marsh's brilliance, her medical genius, and those rare formulas put them on the map. But after Rita's passing, the legacy began to wither. Tying themselves to the Evans family was their last safety net. They needed this marriage to work like their lives depended on it. Sure, I was also a daughter of the Jones family, but my marriage didn't carry the same weight as Paige's. Paige was the one they genuinely held dear. Paige tried to play it cool, but her fists were tight enough to crack bone. Still, ever the performer. She put on her poised expression. This doesn't make any sense. There's a mistake.
But the system shows Mr. Evans' marital status clearly.
The City Hall staff member said firmly. The crowd surged towards the laptop. Sure enough, the system displayed Cole and me listed as husband and wife. The date went back 2 years. In another nation, Podgend, when I was 18. Darren and Kiara stood frozen. Paige polished mask cracked right then and there. She was at a loss, her elegant facade gone in an instant. The room turned its focus on Cole. Reuben narrowed his eyes and asked sharply.
Care to explain, Cole?
Cole maintained his poker face.
I'm just as confused as you are. Confused? You signed a marriage license and have no idea how it happened?
Reuben echoed, his voice climbing with fury, his mustache nearly twitching with rage. Cole's head slowly turned toward me, his stare sharp enough to cut glass. I hadn't moved, still caught in disbelief. I gave a slow blink, shrugged innocently, and said, "Beats me. I don't know either. No one had any real reason to doubt me. I'd grown up invisible, scraping through grade school, stuck in a storeroom no bigger than a closet, and constantly ridiculed for how I looked."
"There's no way this is real. Someone had to mess with the registry."
Grinding her teeth in frustration, Kiara instructed.
"Sort out the truth later. For now, divorce immediately and get Cole married to Paige today."
Right. Getting Cole and Paige married takes priority.
Darren chimed in.
I'm afraid Cole couldn't marry Paige.
Reuben exhaled slowly.
The Evans family has strict traditions. A man can only remarry if his wife has passed away. Divorce isn't even an option. The one walking down the aisle today has to be Elana.
Paige couldn't take it anymore. She jumped up, her composure crumbling, eyes glistening with rage.
"You can't be serious. Everyone in New Blendo knows I'm the one meant to marry him. And now you're swapping me out for Elana?"
Paige is meant to be Cole's rightful wife. That pathetic brat doesn't belong anywhere near him.
I could barely hide my amusement. It was better than anything I could have planned. "Darling, sorry about all this drama." With a sugar-sweet smile, I looked up at Cole and said,
"You bitch! He's mine! How dare you call him that?"
This was like a slap to Paige's pride. She screamed, charging at me in a blind fury. "Take a breath, Paige. Where are those polished manners you take pride in?" Paige stumbled past me, fists clenched and trembling, ready for round 2, until my words froze her mid-step.
"Cole, you can't leave me. No one loves you more than I do."
Darren and Kiara turned to Cole, silently begging him to say something, anything that could change the course of this disaster. Reuben's reputation was unshakable. He never bent the rules.
As an Evans, I'm expected to uphold my family's traditions. I won't be the one to tear them down.
The words hit like a thunderclap. Both Kiara and Paige paled as if the floor had dropped beneath them. Darren's gaze shot to Reuben, panic bubbling beneath the surface.
Reuben, surely there's...
I felt Reuben's gaze sweep over my overdone makeup, but it lingered on Cole, steady, composed, unshaken. I watched him exhale long and heavy.
This is unfair to you, Cole. But our family's traditions leave no room for exceptions.
He muttered those words to himself, his tone filled with helplessness but unwavering resolve.
Darren, I made a promise to your father, which is the only reason I agreed to this marriage alliance in the first place. But the engagement never stated exactly which of your daughters would be marrying into my family. Now that Elana is Cole's wife, the deal still stands. Don't push me to go against the traditions my family has followed for generations.
I could tell Darren was reluctant, but he didn't dare oppose Reuben. He swallowed his fury and gave a stiff nod.
And with that, the switch in brides was sealed for good. I stepped forward without hesitation, slipping into the gown that had been meant for Paige. As the gown slipped on, I felt a surge of determination and satisfaction. This was mine, and I wasn't letting go.
Cole's wedding wasn't a simple one. It shouted luxury from every corner, drenched in wealth and power. $100 million gown, laced with diamonds and pearls, was the crown jewel of the ceremony. Paige had fantasized about walking down the aisle in it for as long as she could remember. Kiara and Darren spent millions on it, hoping to please the Evans family. But in the end, every bit of it went to me.
I could barely hold back my laughter, but with Cole standing right next to me, I bit it back and kept my expression neutral. There was no mistaking Cole's reputation. Dangerous, decisive, and impossible to predict. I still had no clue how I became his wife.
You may now kiss the bride.
But I needed answers, and fast. A swarm of reporters buzzed outside the Jones family's mansion, hungry for any crack in the story. Instead of feeding the frenzy, Cole avoided the car altogether and flew off with me in a private plane.
Mom, is my dream of becoming the wife of the wealthiest man truly gone?
Absolutely not. Cole won't tolerate being trapped like this. Elana was shoved into his life. Who knows? She might not even make it through tonight.
You think he'd actually get rid of her?
Once Elana's no longer in the picture, just hold on to your place as Ublento's top socialite. You'll be his wife eventually.
Even though I had never seen Cole in person until today, I'd heard every tale. People described him as cold-blooded, even cruel. He was the kind of man who crushed anyone who dared stand in his way. Those who did either vanished or ended up wishing they had never tried. I had no plans to test a man like that. Everyone labeled me dumb and ugly, but Cole saw my shrewdness and trained footwork when I dodged Paige.
You are not as clumsy as you look. Your movement was way too skilled.
It was just pure instinct. He didn't care about my skills. He only wondered who manipulated our marriage and if I was really innocent.
Let's wait and see how long you can keep acting. You had no trouble talking earlier. Why so quiet now?
An uncontrollable chill ran up my spine, and I quickly put on a timid act to protect myself. It's not like I planned to marry up. I just can't shake this bit of unease. A dry chuckle slipped past Cole's lips. I was putting on a show, and he wasn't buying a second of it. Earlier, I'd called him darling in front of Paige like it was the most natural thing in the world. There hadn't been a hint of unease in my voice. He would just wait to see how long I could keep up the charade. Mr. Evans, what are you doing?
Tell me, what do you suppose newlyweds ought to be doing on their wedding night?
The mattress bounced beneath me, his scent surrounding me completely, and I went still. With my horrible wig and makeup, was Cole seriously able to go through with it? There was no denying it. Cole's looks had reeled me. Most men would have run for the hills after seeing my made-up disaster of a face.
Have you completely lost it, Cole?
But Cole? He didn't even blink. He was clearly wired differently.
We should make some noise.
Excuse me?
Grandpa's panicking that I'll leave you alone at the wedding night. He planted someone outside to listen in. If we don't put on a show, they'll be stationed at our door every night until you've got a baby bump.
You asshole! If making noise is so important, then go make it yourself.
Startled, I jerked beneath him. Feeling a mix of pain and tickling, the watcher left.
Honey, you certainly know how to make some noise in the bedroom.
Flushed and fuming, I swung for him again. Cole, sensing I'd had enough, lifted his hands in surrender and stepped away with a grin. Crossing the room, he flicked the switch, flooding the room with light. The sudden glow made me squint.
Well, is it your plan to keep lying there? You're beginning to make me wonder if you were just playing hard to get.
Dozens of neatly hung outfits greeted me inside. Without hesitation, I locked the door, tore off the suffocating dress, and slipped into a nightdress. It felt like armor. Light, easy to move in, and ready for anything. If Cole tried something now, I'd make him regret it. After his shower, Cole slipped into clean pajamas and made himself comfortable. Stretched out like he owned the bed. The knot on his pajama top hung loose, exposing just enough of his defined chest and lean torso to make it feel intentional. It was hard to look away. With how boldly Cole had been teasing me earlier, I started to wonder if he was actually doing this on purpose. Trying to tempt me. For a moment, I was at a loss for words. When we'd first crossed paths, I'd pegged Cole as distant and above it all. But tonight he was anything but reserved. Cole's eyes stayed on me, tracking every tiny shift in my expression like he was trying to read my mind. Cole had come to another realization. When it came to anything intimate, I was completely clueless, turning red and flustered the second things took even the slightest flirtatious turn. That familiar impulse to tease me stirred once more. He gave the empty space next to him a light pat and said,
Honey, come to bed.
I blinked, stunned. Was he actually serious about sharing the bed? A disbelieving smile tugged at my lips. Did he honestly think he'd get any sleep looking at my horrible makeup? Wasn't he even a little afraid I'd haunt his dreams? I held my tongue instead of calling him insane. Well, what do you say we talk for a bit instead?
What exactly do you want to discuss? The way you tricked everyone in the Jones family?
Or maybe how you mentally embraced yourself into marrying someone you can't even stand, before setting off to the Jones family's residence. Cole's eyes narrowed as he studied me, standing there calmly. Did I really catch on to how much he hated Paige? A slow, knowing smile tugged at my lips. I had noted plenty of details back at the Jones estate. I remembered how Cole subtly jerked his arm away when Paige latched onto him. When she cried, his eyes flashed with nothing but mocking iciness. Moreover, when we took off in the plane, he changed into a new suit and then tossed the one Paige had touched straight into the bin without hesitation. That wasn't ordinary dislike. That was raw, deep-seated revulsion. Ever since then, a single question kept circling in my mind. If I hadn't interfered, would Cole have actually married Paige? How about a deal? I'll keep your annoying admirers away from you, and in return, you don't mess with my life. Once we straighten out how we tied the knot, I'm gone. Fair enough? It sounded fair to me, a clean arrangement that benefited us both. I expected at least a nod. Instead, Cole collapsed onto the bed,
shut his eyes like I didn't exist, and flicked the lights off without so much as a glance in my direction. Biting back a curse, I trudged toward the sofa, bumping my shin on the edge in the dark. I collapsed onto the cushions, too annoyed to care about a shower. Hours passed in silence. I drifted into sleep soundly. Sometime in the middle of the night, Cole opened his eyes and slipped out of bed. Guided by the dim moonlight, he crossed the room and stopped in front of me, just watching. The air carried a hint of my scent, clean and natural, untouched by perfume. It eased into his lungs and left behind a quiet, unexpected comfort. Cole's mind wandered back to the feel of me against him earlier. I'd been so soft, my body yielding, and my slender waist had settled into his palm like it belonged there. The next morning, I turned over on the plush mattress and woke up feeling unexpectedly well-rested. I thought I'd toss and turn all night in an unfamiliar place, but instead, I'd knocked out like someone had flipped a switch. I blinked, dazed and disoriented. Last I checked, I'd passed out on the couch, so why was I waking up in bed? Panic kicked in fast. I sat up and checked my clothes. The blue nightgown was still on, neat and untouched. A sigh slipped out before I could stop it.
Honey, you climbed into bed yourself.
I narrowed my eyes, not buying a single word of it.
Actually, you didn't stop there. You stripped me down, cuddled up to me, had your hand on my chest and whispered sweet nothings like darling.
Shut your mouth!
I took some videos. If you think I'm lying, go ahead and watch for yourself.
I had just started pulling myself together when a knock rattled the door. Cole's voice drifted in.
Honey, time's ticking. The elders are waiting to meet us. Better get moving.
The wealthy Evans family had upheld its numerous traditions for generations. One of the most important came the morning after the wedding, when the newlyweds were expected to greet the elders properly. What do I wear?
I've got you covered.
I snatched it, shut the door and got to work. But my thoughts drifted, uninvited, back to the night before. Cole had made a move on me. Maybe my makeup hadn't been terrible enough. So today, I dialed it down even harder, dragging the brush like I meant it. At the head of the long room, Reuben occupied the central seat, while Jadet Evans, Cole's father, sat stiffly at his right. The rest of the clan had taken their places, completing the somber formation. Laughter and murmured conversation had filled the hall. But the moment Cole and I stepped in, hands clasped together like we had something to prove, the entire room stiffened. Just then, Bertram's wife, Irene Evans, lifted her chin with a proud tilt and said in a smug, cutting voice. I knew Irene was up to something. She's always been the type to hide her venom behind a smile. Elana, do you realize the entire city is practically counting down the days until Cole ends up a widower? Actually, I haven't really kept up with the news these days. I could see the frustration in her eyes. She thought she could rattle me, but she was wrong. Let me get straight to the point, Elana. Cole was supposed to marry Paige. You were a last-minute replacement, and that caused a storm online. She was trying to make me feel guilty, to make me think I was the one causing all the trouble. But I wasn't falling for it.
The gossip's gotten out of hand, and it's dragging down the Evans Group's stock price. Since you're now officially Cole's wife, it falls on you to protect the Evans family's reputation.
What makes her qualified to be the matriarch of the family? This family is packed with scholars and high achievers. How's someone like her supposed to lead anything?
Irene's son Jeff was just like his mother, spoiled, arrogant, and quick to judge. Jeff, that's not how we speak to family. Elana is Cole's wife, and she deserves our respect. Please don't take it personally. Jeff is just a kid. Trinity was even more dangerous than Irene. She knew how to manipulate people with her kindness.
If my wife doesn't deserve your respect, then maybe I don't either. Is that what you meant?
I didn't expect Cole to stand up for me, but when he did, I felt a strange sense of relief. Irene has a point. As the family's matriarch, I should take charge. I'll handle the online mess myself.
Elana, there's something crucial I'm entrusting to you. You can't afford to fail. Understand?
Elana, you were pulled into this marriage against your will. The public scandal surrounding the Evans family isn't something you caused, and it's not something that can reasonably be placed on your shoulders to repair.
I was surprised by Reuben's words. I didn't expect him to be so understanding.
Still, Irene did have a point. The matriarch of this family should have both integrity and ability. It can't be someone who never completed elementary school. Because of that gap in your education, I'm giving you 1 year to catch up. I'll make sure you're enrolled in the best school, and by next summer you'll need to take the SATs and earn a place at a university.
Okay.
Dad, isn't that a bit much to expect from her?
Yes, it's hard. But the woman who leads this family must endure pressure. If she can't handle this, how will she guide a household as large and complicated as ours?
I knew Reuben wouldn't back down. He was determined to make me prove myself.
Elana, you see, Ruben clearly has faith in you. If you ever hit a wall with your studies, I'd be happy to help.
Thank you, but I won't be needing that. Ruben? I may not have attended school recently, but I've been studying on my own. I want to sit for this year's SATs. I could see the surprise in everyone's eyes. They didn't think I could do it, but I was determined to prove them wrong. You heard correctly.
Cole, have her registered to take the SATs at Kent High School. Understood.
I knew Cole would follow Ruben's orders. He was a man of his word.
Do you have a study plan? I could set up a tutor if you'd prefer.
I'll take care of the studying myself. But today, I want to visit my family.
Considering all that happened yesterday, it's probably best you go back and smooth things over with your family. Take Cole with you. Cole, put together something thoughtful for the Jones family. Make it generous. Come on, let's go.
I couldn't believe what had happened last night. I had undressed Cole, curled up against him, and stayed there the whole night. It was beyond embarrassing.
What's running through your mind? You're blushing so much. Honey, didn't you just beg me for hugs, kisses, and to be lifted into the air like a princess? Want me to do so right here?
We just laid down the rules. Why are you pulling this crap again?
Wasn't it your request? I figured you had some big reason, so I played along.
Why the heck would I ask for that?
Another video recording?
Come here, darling. Give me a kiss and a hug. Kiss and hug.
Thanks for the lift. Catch you later.
Call me if you need me. I'll swing by to pick you up later.
Elana, you two-faced snake! What sick game did you play to hook Cole?
Paige, you must have forgotten. I didn't lift a finger, and then Cole became my husband. Believe me, I'd love to pull a few tricks, but I just didn't get the chance. Oh, and just so you know, Cole and I slept together last night. What can I say? That body, that strength, those skills. Paige, it's a shame you'll never get to experience that. Rita, my mother and a medical prodigy, had always been sensible, never one to cause drama. Even when she discovered Darren had an affair and even an illegitimate daughter, she had decided against confrontation, choosing instead to pour herself into researching medical treatments. Then one night, a fire had torn through the Jones family home. Acting decisively, Rita had dragged me to safety, whispered a few final words, and ran back into the flames, never to return. I was determined to find my mother. I knew she was still out there somewhere, and I was going to find her no matter what.
Cole, you've been sitting there not eating, not drinking, and not even sparking up a smoke. Don't tell me that Elana, that so-called plain Jane, has you in a depressive slump?
You're too straight-laced, man. All those family rules and traditions are weighing you down. If it were me, no way I'd sign up for that. If they tried to stick me with someone that plain, I'd rather have my head lopped off and tossed to my grandpa for a game of kickball.
Cole, if you're really feeling that down, we'll drink with you until you forget your name.
Why do you guys think I'm down in the dumps? Looks like we got worried for nothing.
Is Elana really that naive? Kiara and Paige were out for her blood yesterday and now she followed them here? Isn't she worried they'll sell her down the river? What a dope. Cole, like it or not, she's your wife now. If she gets into trouble, it's your name on the line.
Sit down and mind your own business.
What? You want Kiara and Paige to end Elana and make you a widower?
Cole's not that guy. If he's staying out of it, he's got a plan. Let's just kick back and see what happens.
Fine, I'll check the cameras.
Elana, order whatever you want tonight. It's on me.
I knew Darren was up to something. He had never been kind to me, and I didn't expect him to start now.
Elana, have some coffee.
Kiara wanted me 6 feet under, yet here Kiara was, playing sweet stepmom. Did they really think I'd fall for it and drink? Thanks. You should have some too.
Of course. This is pretty good. Go on, drink yours.
Yo, did you see that? Elana swapped the coffee cups.
Slick move.
Cole, your plain Jane might have some brains after all.
Feeling woozy.
What'd you give her?
I spiked her coffee. We're sending her upstairs with a few guys to snap some photos. That'll sink her for good. Darren, you can't seriously think she's gonna bring us any benefit? She'll only make the Evans family hate us and drag us into the mud. Our future's riding on Paige. Only Paige can lock down Cole.
All right. Do it neatly. No loose ends. She's still Mrs. Evans after all.
Don't worry. I've got this handled.
I wasted years longing for fatherly love that had never existed. Each time we met, it was like reopening the same wound.
This gig's a joke. We're supposed to screw her and snap pictures? That's trauma I'm not getting paid enough for. Shut up. The Jones family's paying 3 times the usual. Suck it up and think of the cash. You're not going to stop it? Say one more word, and I'll make sure it's your last.
Clowns like you? Not even worth my time. It's showtime.
Now your records are mine.
What the? No way! The whole system's been wiped. Who the hell had the guts to hack into my family business's network?
What is wrong with you?
The party noise faded into a dull hum.
Are my eyes messing with me, or is Cole actually kissing that plain Jane?
All I could see was them. His friends couldn't believe it. Neither could I.
Yeah, I didn't see this coming either.
The kiss wasn't soft. Before I could react, he deepened it, leaving me breathless and dizzy.
Now tell me, honey. Do I have the right to get involved in your business?
You're way out of line. Who told you kissing me was okay?
His arrogance was infuriating, but his words hit a nerve. He knew. He had seen what I could do.
You watched the surveillance. If you want to find out firsthand, I'd be more than willing to demonstrate. I sprung into motion, ready to test just how skilled he really was.
All right, time out! You're newlyweds, not cage fighters! Let's go cool off with a drink. Here you go. Something to take the edge off?
I don't drink. Without a word, Cole reached for the juice, filled a glass, and slid it over to me.
So, Elana, rumor has it you've been stuck in the back room for years. Where'd you learn to fight like that?
Self-taught. The next moment, a wine glass flew through the air, aimed directly at my face.
What the hell was that? Take it easy. I wanted to test the truth. She fights like someone who's seen combat.
You really expect me to buy that garbage?
Let them talk. Let them doubt. Their underestimation is my greatest weapon.
That marriage of yours was suspicious from day one. And let's not overlook what happened to your father.
The moment we were out of that room, I yanked my hand from his grip. Enough. We need to talk. What was that kiss about?
You can climb into my bed, but I can't steal a kiss? That kiss was just you paying me back.
That's your excuse? You're bizarre. Your friend was right. You should stay away from me. It's safer.
Okay. In my world, you could be the most dangerous woman on the planet and do whatever you damn well please.
Before I could react, he grabbed my hand again.
Where are we going now?
Home.
Hello? I've got a tip you're going to want to hear.
Mom, what's the holdup? Where are the photos of Elana?
I'm going upstairs to see what's taking so damn long. Why is it so hot in here? My head is spinning.
Whoa! Look at that woman on the dance floor!
Come on, dance with me. Don't be shy. I'll make it worth your while.
Is she drunk? She's grabbing every guy she sees.
Don't you want a taste? I don't bite much.
Mom, where are you? The whole club is going crazy over some woman. Wait. Mom, is that you?